Hi, and welcome to our November webinar. So this is the time of year that we do a webinar on deep immunity. So we are going to talk about how to thrive through the cold and flu season using natural remedies. So let's talk about how to bolster your immune system throughout this cold and flu season. It's been a bit of a doozy so far. So we're going to go over the best products to keep in your medicine cabinet if and when illness strikes your household, as well as ways to prevent getting sick. So building deep immunity means supporting our immune system so that we can recover more quickly from illness, that we can reduce the severity of and duration of symptoms, and best case scenario, maybe we can avoid illness altogether. So let's start with the kind of basic tenets of herbal medicine with respect to immunity. So there are two types of immune system herbs. We have surface immune stimulating herbs and deep immune stimulating herbs. So you might have heard me talk about this before. Surface immune stimulating herbs are what we use when we're experiencing cold and flu symptoms because they quickly stimulate the immune system and cause a strong and fast immune response, whereas deep immune stimulating herbs are what we use when we are preventing or recovering from illness. So these tend to be more restorative herbs than stimulating ones. So they're rich in nutrients that help to balance the immune response, that help to reduce inflammation and support overall hormone function to recover and maintain good energy levels. So deep immune support is all about illness prevention, and many of the prevention methods are supportive of your overall health and well-being. So not only will your immune system be healthy, your energy and mood will be too. So another great reason to use these preventative methods is that the healthier you are and the more robust your immune system is, the faster and better you will overcome illness if you do happen to get sick. So these herbs are basically plant source super multivitamins. So some of the strongest deep immune stimulating herbs are in the family of medicinal mushrooms. These are my favorite. So there are a lot to choose from, and they are all a little different. But they're all adaptogens, which means they are tonic for all your body systems, and they help to increase resiliency to stress, whether that's physical or mental. So medicinal mushrooms are very rich in selenium. They have lots of B vitamins. There's vitamin D2. There's potassium and beta-glucans, and all of these are key nutrients for good immune system support, for good inflammatory function in the body, and resiliency to stress. So Land Art Canada, I always talk about these guys. They're from Quebec. They make a great organic mushroom extract that's a blend of 5 different medicinal mushrooms. So you've got shiitake, lion's mane, reishi, maitake, and chaga mushrooms. And I really love this product because chaga and reishi are super dense, starchy mushrooms, so in their raw form, the nutrients are actually super difficult for your body to use. So they need to be processed or prepared in a certain kind of way to create a liquid extract so that you can actually utilize all of the great things that are in those mushrooms. In their raw form, they're really not going to do all that much for you. So creating a liquid extract, which is what Land Art specializes in, is really the best way to use these 2 powerful mushrooms to their full potential. Shiitake and maitake are especially rich in beta-glucans, which is essentially food for your immune system. And then lion's mane, that 5th mushroom that's in the formula, is a brain herb. So it's typically used to improve cognitive function and memory, but it's also very energizing and very anti-inflammatory. So it really ties the formula together. So it covers all your bases and makes it a true health tonic and a great immune system tonic. Chaga mushroom on its own is also a very powerful deep immune tonic, but be sure to read your labels because not all chaga mushroom products are created equal. So a couple of pro tips. Tinctures are the most potent way to take chaga mushrooms. So the alcohol that's in a tincture really does the best job at extracting all of the medicinal qualities. But if you're going to use a tincture, you want to check what's called the herb to menstruum ratio. So that ratio will be right there on the ingredients panel, and it tells you how strong that tincture is. So 1:1 being the strongest ratio. This means that 1 ounce of herb is used for every ounce of alcohol. Some chaga tinctures might be 1:15, which means that they're much more diluted. Suro from Quebec, their chaga tincture is a 1:1 ratio, so it is the best, and it's also wildcrafted and organic, so it's sustainable, which is very important when we're harvesting chaga mushrooms. If you prefer to use the actual mushroom, the chunks are the best way to use them because they can be used a couple of times. So I think the best way to use these is to decoct them. This basically means creating a strong tea. So you would bring water to a roiling boil and add the mushrooms and then put the lid on it. So you'd want to let that boil lightly for 15 minutes with the lid on and then let it cool and store it in the fridge. You could do just an ounce, like a shot glass worth a day for good immune system support. The mushrooms are very dense, so you can decoct them 2 or 3 times. Each time that decoction will be a little less potent, but it's still going to be effective. Once they are spent, you can pop those mushroom chunks in a mason jar with any clear alcohol like vodka or whatever and let them sit for 2 weeks. And the alcohol will pull all of the remaining nutrients out of the mushroom, and then you have yourself a chaga tincture. So Suro sells them by the chunks. They come in a little kind of resealable bag, and it's great if you like to make your own remedies at home. It's a super way to get chaga and not spend very much money and get a lot out of it. Chaga, or the land art organic mushroom extract paired with a simple vitamin D3 and a good omega-3 supplement, is a really effective protocol for deep immunity. Vitamin D is fat soluble, so you always want to ensure that you're using it in either drop form or soft gels. The tablets are not nearly as effective at raising your D3 levels. In fact, I would go so far as to say that they're probably not effective at all. So definitely drops or soft gels is the best way to go. The drops, you can't beat the value. The land art ones, there's a 13.5 milliliter bottle that's got 450 drops in it, and each drop is 1,000 IU. So 1,000 IU is your daily recommended dose from Health Canada, but many health professionals, including myself, would advise you to take more than that. I typically recommend doing 2,000 to 3,000 IU in the spring, fall, and winter, and 1,000 IU in the summer for Canadians. Because our seasons here in Canada change so much, we tend to need more D3 than our southern neighbors, so I think it's something that everyone here should be taking. Now, most omega-3 supplements, if they're fish-based, will include a vitamin D3 in it because they pair so well together. Omega-3, especially a high EPA one, is really great for your immune system because it supports healthy hormone production and healthy inflammation in the body. A big part of your immune system's defense system relies on healthy inflammatory response. So when you're overinflamed, your immune system response isn't as effective because it's already kind of stressed out. Aqua Omega from Ontario has a whole line of high EPA omega-3 supplements available in liquids, chewables, soft gels, and gummies. So they contain, all of them except for the gummies contain 1,000 IU of D3 per dose. So you can consider that when you're deciding how much D3 to take on its own. In previous videos, we've talked a lot about Aqua Omega's fish oils, which are the most sustainable fish oil supplement that you can get here in Canada with the highest potency. So it's a win-win. If you want a plant-based one, their vegan omega-3 is by far the best animal-free option. It doesn't contain D3 because D3 tends to come from lanolin, so it's not vegan. That said, lanolin comes from sheep's wool, so many people on a vegan diet are okay with that. But if you're not, you can always seek out a vitamin D2 option, which tends to come from mushrooms or lichen. D2 does need to convert to D3 in the body, so the absorption isn't quite as good, but it is the best alternative to anybody who's not wanting a lanolin source vitamin D. Colloidal silver is a great natural remedy that's not always considered a deep immune remedy, but is more of a surface one. But the magic of colloidal silver is that it is actually both. So on a deep immune level, silver is a mineral that stimulates tissue regeneration. It's very anti-inflammatory and it promotes healing. It helps to keep the gut lining and respiratory tissues healthy, which is key to preventing and treating illnesses. On a surface immune level, it's very effective at destroying viruses and yeasts and mold, which can weaken the immune system. Those can also cause illnesses or allergic reactions. So during cold and flu season, I like to recommend taking 1 teaspoon a day. That's a great preventative dose. When taking it, be sure to hold it in your mouth for about 30 seconds before swallowing because it's great for your oral health and it starts absorbing immediately through the tissues in your mouth and throat. If you do happen to fall ill, you can take 1 teaspoon 3 times a day until your symptoms are completely gone. If you're very, very sick, you could even go up to 7 times a day just for a short period of time, and that would be just fine. Siro Breathe is another great deep immune remedy that I love to talk about. It also contains surface immune herbs, so it's a nice well-rounded formula. So this one comes from Siro in Quebec as well. It's a blend of 17 different organic herbs that are all tonics for the lungs and upper respiratory tract. So I love this one for treating and recovering from any upper respiratory infection. The shining star of this formula, in my opinion, is that the first and most prolific ingredient is stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is very nutrient dense. It's an herb that's essentially a multivitamin in plant form. It's a very potent antihistamine, so it's great for people with allergies, and it's a deep immune stimulating herb, so it's kind of everything. Some of the herbs in this formula are really antimicrobial, so they can help fight infection. And another thing I love about the formula is that it can be used preventatively or as a treatment for illness. So beyond colds and flus, this remedy is fantastic for allergies, for recovering after quitting smoking or asthma. It comes in capsule form, but I personally prefer the liquid. It's got a really nice herbal taste, and it's really soothing as you swallow it. There are lovely aromatic herbs in the formula that help to relieve congestion in the chest and sinuses too. So the liquid is great. And I can't talk about immunity without mentioning Siro's elderberry syrups, of course. So we've talked about elderberry many, many times, and I'm going to be doing a deep dive into this great herb on Friday, this coming Friday at noon Eastern time. So if you want to learn more, make sure you tune into that. Siro is my favorite because they're organically grown in Quebec. They also use a Canadian species of elderberry, which I'm going to talk more about on Friday. They infuse their elderberries with apple cider vinegar, honey, bee propolis, elderflower extract, and echinacea tincture in the adult formula. We talked about mushrooms being deep immune stimulating herbs. By contrast, echinacea is a surface immune stimulating herb. So it's best used at the onset of symptoms and throughout illness because it kicks your immune system into high gear, but it's not the best thing for prevention. It's really best used in short-term doses to remain as effective as possible. Elderberries are very rich in vitamin C, which is great for immunity, but their big claim to fame is that they're incredibly effective against the influenza virus. So that's something we should really be thinking about this year. Elderberry can significantly shorten the duration of illness from influenza, and I love Siro's elderberry concentrate for illness prevention because it's only elderberries. It's a 5-to-1 concentrate, so it's super dense. It's made out of freeze-dried organic elderberries. They use the skin, so it's got a lot of key nutrients that are sometimes lost in other methods of preparation. So this formula is really great for everyone, including children and pregnant women. So something to keep in mind. It can be taken on its own, or it can be mixed into a beverage or smoothie, and of course, it tastes great. Siro also offers their elderberry syrups in nighttime formulas, so they contain extra herbs to help promote sleep and relaxation, as well as some decongestant essential oils like menthol and eucalyptus to help clear the chest and sinuses. So there are 3 of them. They've divided them into age groups. So they've got kids, which is ages 2 to 11, teens, which is 12 to 18, and then 19 plus. All this is right on the front of the bottle, so it's super easy. The main difference between them being the potency of the sedative herbs that they use, and the kids one is alcohol-free as well. In addition to these remedies, another great tool is having an arsenal of essential oils. So they are another great layer of protection for you and your household. You can diffuse your own blends or pre-made ones to help prevent airborne illnesses and allergies. And I know I say it all the time, but I love Divine Essence essential oils from Quebec. They're certified organic, and best of all, they are NPN certified by Health Canada. So they are approved to put the therapeutic use right on the bottle, which is especially handy if we're using it to treat colds and flus, because it's going to tell you right on the bottle which ones you should be reaching for. So they really paved the way here in Canada to legitimize using essential oils as a true therapeutic health treatment in a really safe and responsible manner. So for individual herb essential oils for immunity, I always like to keep on hand peppermint, eucalyptus, ravensara, and marjoram. So there are several species of eucalyptus to choose from Divine Essence, and they're all kind of unique. And this is where that NPN certification really serves us, because they can put right on the label which species is best for which ailment. I like marjoram for congestion because it is really soothing to the the airways. It helps to really relax all of that. So it's actually often used for snoring because it's so effective at opening up the airways. You would use it like diffusing it in your bedroom for that use, but it's also great for colds and flus. Ravensara is a true favorite of mine. I love this one. It's camphorous essential oil, so it's kind of got that medicinal smell to it. It's excellent for disinfecting and decongesting. You can use it in a diffusion or a steam inhalation. You can also make it into a DIY chest rub by mixing it into a carrier oil and applying a thin layer to the chest. Really, really great. It's also a good kind of hand sanitizing ingredient as well. It's even better just to use their prana extract, or prana blend. Divine Essence has a number of blends, but the prana one is a must-have for this season. It's a blend of many herbs, some of which are eucalyptus, naoli, rosemary, and they've also got peppermint, fir balsam, Ravensara, and Pomarosa. So these are all invaluable herbs that help to fight respiratory tract infections. It's got a really fresh, pleasant, minty smell that helps to clear the lungs, to ease cold and flu symptoms, and prevent infection. So you can add a few drops to your diffuser and help clear illness-causing microbes from the air, or you can use it to ease congestion and aches and pains in a bath by diluting it in another oil like grapeseed or jojoba, adding it to your bath water, or you can use it as a chest rub, also must be diluted with a carrier oil. They also just came out with a new peppermint and Ravensara air freshener spray that doubles as a nice tool for cold and flu season. The ingredients smell really nice and fresh, but they're antiseptic too, so you can use it as another layer of protection around the home or your workplace or in your vehicle or wherever. Okay, that's it for tonight. So our December webinars are booked for Tuesday, December 13th. We're going to talk about how to sleep better and stress less, something that everybody will be thinking about in December, no doubt. And the last one of the year is on Friday, December 16th, and we're going to talk about aromatherapy for the holidays. So I hope you can join us. Have a look at our events page if you want to find out exactly when they're all happening. You can RSVP there too if you want Facebook to give you a nice little friendly reminder. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in.